The Bourrasque has to be one of the best tier 8s in the entirety of World of Tanks console. It has almost everything that you could ever think of. Today, I'm going to be showcasing two games in this tank, and the second game will be my gold mark game. This is my first tier 8 gold mark I've done, and I feel pretty proud about it, as it's definitely a hard one. But yeah, let's get straight into it. The first replay is going to be a lesser damage game, as usual. However, my platoon mate, Penguin, who is going to be in this video, he will be doing a lot of damage in this game, especially at tier 8. It's very, very high. First off, we're going on Sword Beach, and this is an okay map for this tank, I'd say. It's not the absolute best, but I was managing to get some pretty good games on this map. Both of the games I had on this map when I was marking were over like 6k combined, so that's not usually what I get on this kind of map, which is a little odd, but it just happened to work like that. And they were both tier 10 games, so that was okay. Thing is, you might think that you don't want tier 10 games, when you're a tier 8, just because you're underpowered, you're just worse in every way. When it comes to the Bourrasque, though, I kind of prefer tier 10 games, not on all maps. Like, if it's something like Himmelsdorf or something, I'm going to hope it's a tier 8 game, because I'm not going to be able to pen anything. Because this tank is, it relies on camo, it relies on speed, all of that kind of stuff. The gun is definitely not the best part of this tank. But the reason I prefer tier 10 games is because of the assistance damage. Well, and I have a SFAC in my platoon, which is basically the highest damage you can get at tier 8 with a friend. It's the most you can platoon up with is a SFAC, and he does 720 or 780 with a double. So that's a lot of damage. However, when you are at tier 10, you can get like an FV 4005 or something on your team, or a Death Star, or something, even a grill. And that's just way more damage potential for assistance. That is kind of why I prefer it. Another thing is, when you're doing damage yourself, there's also more damage to go around. Whereas if it's a tier 8 game, that means there's going to be tier 7s, probably tier 6s. And tier 6s you can literally one clip. So that's not, it's just less damage overall. If I'm just playing this thing for fun, I'm gonna hope I'm top tier. But when you're marking and stuff, I want those big damage games, So far, it looks like a lot of the tanks are camping at like E1. And I did tell my friend Penguin to go up on the hill behind me because I was planning to spot this spot. And he's just kind of waiting there for me to spot anything. And I haven't really spotted anything except for that type. He's going to struggle to pen the type. Unless he loads premium, then he'll be fine. I poke over and get 2 shots into that medium tank, which was... I kind of wanted to test it to see if there were people in the back that were going to be targeting me, and there weren't really. So then I'm like, well, I'm kind of safe up here. I'm assuming, I see people are on the beach, which is, don't ever go to the beach if you're playing this map. I don't know why there's like 3 or 4 tanks on the beach. So I know 3 or 4 are over there. There's that type up there. That's 5. I see like 4 or 5 others on this side. So that's like 11 of the team. And that means that there's only, a couple, like 3 others in the back somewhere. That's another thing I do when I'm playing, is I try and I count the amount of tanks on the map. And I just saw that there were 2 other heavy tanks spotted over on the B line. So I'm like, there's basically no one back there I got to worry about. So when you do see people get spotted, look on your minimap and try and count how many you can see. Like I just counted there, and I know that there's basically no one in the back. And that last tank that was in the back was that heavy tank at B3, which our light tank spotted. So I know pretty much where everyone is at the moment. This is a little bit newer thing I've been starting to do, and it seems to help a lot, with my awareness on the map and where everybody is. I basically know where the entire team is. Just a little something you can try to do. But we're starting to lose just by a little bit. We're down 2 tanks, and we're down on hit points, and at the moment I'm only at 2800 combined. For me to not drop on this mark, I have to get 4.2 thousand damage just to not drop, and my goal was about 6k, because 6k is when I was actually moving. That's when I could get the mark to actually move. It'd go up like, I think like 0.3 or something, so that was a decent amount. I was doing it solo through the first good bit. The funny thing is, the reason I never ever planned on gold marking the Bourrasque, just because it has the highest requirements at tier 8. You know, it's tough. The gun can be troll, so it's just a tough one. You know, if you get bad maps, it's very tough. However, they gave this tank away. It's starting like what 2 or 3 weeks ago, and yesterday was the last day that you could get it for free. So when a tank goes away for free, that usually means the mark requirements absolutely drop, because that means literally anybody can get it. You know, the bad players, the good players, and there's more, or even the average players. You know, the average players are going to lower the mark because, you know, if you're more average, you're going to lower something. Where this tank was played by, you know, a lot of sweaty players to get the most out of it. So whenever a tank does go on for sale for free, or it's given out a season pass, that is the time to mark it. I was talking with some friends, and I heard that 2 or 3 of them gold marked it yesterday. And they told me, and I was like, wow, 2 people gold marked it in 2 days? That's crazy. So I was talking to them, and they basically said they had the mark at like 96 or something, and they played 1 game yesterday, and it went up like 4% in 1 game because it was lowered so much because it was given away. So I was like, well, my mark was at 95%, you know, around there last time I played it. So I was like, I'm going to give it a try, you know. I'm going to see if mine goes to 99% or whatever. I played 1 game, and that first game was 7,000 damage combined. And I was already at like 98.8, which then I was like, well, I have to go for the mark now. You know, if it would have been like 96, I probably wouldn't have really cared, because I have quite a few tanks at 96%. But it was at 98.8, so I was like, you know, I'm going to try this. I did some games solo. I climbed up to like 94, 99, just 99, I think. And then I started having some bad games, so I asked my friend if he would play the S-Fac, just so that I could make sure I guarantee that assistance. He has good aim. I know he's going to hit his shots. That's why I want to play it like that. But as you can see, we're kind of boxed in here, and all these heavy tanks are sitting around us. I can't really pen anything, so I'm going to have to rely on my friend here, or these couple other heavy tanks we have. This E5 is kind of creeping around the corner. I'd like to get him out just because I don't want to be boxed in, you know, and a kill is a kill. When it comes down to winning a game, you want to get those kills at the end, because it's less guns in the game, less people that can shoot you, whether they're one-shots or not. There's still a gun in the game, and they can get lucky with RNG, you know, and they can pen you, or they can hit you from a weird angle. That's why we want to get kills. And I was starting to notice at this point that my friend was hitting a lot of shots, so I was probably thinking he's having a big game, just because of how many doubles I was seeing he was shooting. I'm trying to put a shot into this BZ, and I know that I can't pen him. I don't know why I took those shots. Because he has like spaced armor on the side, I wasn't going to track him. And I knew that as a thing. I pulled the trigger. I should have waited to shoot this Samua. So that was a mistake on my part. I probably could have got a little bit more damage. But it's okay. It's not a big deal. We're loading up. We got 6 seconds on the reload, and we're going to finish this Samua off. And I see the Bourrasque is over there. However, I keep my turret locked over here. So some people may turn their turret all the way over there to look at the other tank. However, this tank has bad bloom, as you can see. I mean, it's like ginormous. So I turned my auto aim on, and I auto locked it on that tank so that I could go free cam. And then all I did when I saw I was reloaded is I hit the left trigger, and it already set me on the tank. So that's just like a quick little thing you can do sometimes. And that's something that actually I didn't know about a while back. You know, when I was learning to get better at the game. That was something I never knew about, and I would just turn my whole turret to look at somebody. But keeping it locked is better, just because I was going to be reloaded, I wanted to put the shot on him. I was full health, so I didn't really care if he put a shot into me. Just something to know about if you get this tank. It likes to catch on fire. I don't even remember this, but like I played like 30 games in it, and like today, and like I got set on fire like 7 or 8 at the time. Like, I don't remember that. Maybe it was just my luck today, but I got set on fire so many times. It was so annoying. But we finished off the game with 5,600 damage and 1,600 assists. And you're going to see here, my friend did almost 9,000 damage in a tier 8. That's just showing how good of a tank the S-Fac is. SFAC is an amazing tank. That's probably going to be one of my next 3 marks. Because it's such a fun tank. It's literally, it reminds me of like a Grill 15 at tier 8, basically, when you double shot. However, this is going to be the big game for me. I wasn't sure about the map, and he was like, oh, this is a good map, you're going to get on this map. And I was like, well, sometimes it works out. Sometimes this map, you know, I feel like with some maps, it's either like, when you go to a certain position, it's either you're going to get a ton of assistance damage and regular damage, or you're going to get nothing at all, and the game's going to be like, you're just going to do terrible. This is one of those maps for me. Sometimes I come up here, and I get spotted, and I get shot from everywhere. This was a tier 9 game, so I had to be a little bit careful. But I feel like tier 9 is almost the perfect tier for the Bourrasque, because you're still getting some of those big guns. It's more health, but it's not quite the tier 10 to where, you know, if you get an FB 4005, it's just going to one-shot you, or, you know, something like that. I saw the Cobra over there, and that is what I'm scared of, because if he hits me, he'll probably pen me, and he'll probably track me at the same time, and the interclip on that thing is like, what, 2 seconds or something? He could just absolutely delete me. So I have to keep that rock in between me and him, or I have to stay unspotted. I'm hoping he'll just go away, and already I'm seeing that I'm kind of boxed in here, so I'm not super keen on that. The nice thing about the Bourrasque is how low it sits. They can't even hit me here because I'm like sitting so low. But another problem with the Bourrasque is because I sit so low, I can't even see over that rock. So I kind of have to wedge myself up sometimes if I want to get a shot. And nothing's happening right now. So I was a little worried at this point. I did get a little bit of assistance there, but the problem with this position is it's hard for your teammates to actually get shots on the people because of what they have, like where they have to sit. You know, there's not a great spot for them. But I do put a double. I unload both shots into that Emil too. He wasn't even paying attention, so that was free damage for me. I'm thinking about trying to put some shots into his turret, because that was all that it was exposed on the side of his turret. Not sure if you know this, but the side of the Emils, the Kranvagons, Emil 1, all those Swedish tanks, the sides of the turrets are extremely weak, and you can even pen them with like HE. So just be aware of that if you're ever playing those tanks, or if you're trying to pen them. I somehow bounce on the back of a T-32, which is weird. And at this point, I knew I was doing good, but what was driving me crazy is like I didn't get a double in the whole time. Like I just kept penning one shot over and over, and that's like a 20-second reload, 25-second reload just for like one shot, which is 320 damage. So that was really annoying me. This guy, I saw he poked up there, so then I knew he could have a shot on me. So I have to be careful about that, because I know he can get a shot into me if he pokes up. I aim this in all the way because this gun is extremely derpy. He pulls back, I leave him on 1 HP. So that's not ideal. However, I'm sure someone will kill him. And that guy's poking up there. And at this point, I'm like, there's 78% health left on the other team. And I'm at, 2,600 damage. At this pace, I was at 99.75%. That was my percentage I was at the beginning of this game. I knew I needed around 6 to 7k to make sure I get the gold mark. I was hoping to get more just so that I guaranteed it. But that's what I knew I needed. And at this pace, I was like, that's definitely possible. And now I'm at, 3,200. I only need like 3,000 more to guarantee it. I do take a shot there and he damages my gun. And right here, I was thinking, I'm just going to sit here, okay? I'm not targeting him. So another thing, if you don't know this, you can keep your gun locked on somebody, and that's not what actually puts the targeting indicator. It's actually your camera. The, I don't know, like those little 4 lines there, that's what actually will target them. So if you just keep your gun locked on them and turn your turret like, 45 degrees from them, they're gonna think they're not getting looked at, which is something, just a little tip. And that's what I was doing there. However, he got unspotted and I couldn't see him. I did get a big shot enemy right there by that Wattjack, the new tier 8. I don't even know what it's called. He's not paying attention. He's shooting my platoon mate. I put 2 shots into him. He's angry, I'm sure. And I'm getting scared now because that T-32 keeps poking up and he has a shot on me. And this guy is right here, so I'm literally trapped. If I have to run, I'm dead. There's nowhere I can go. I have 400 health. This guy's looking at me. And then this T-32 just pulls up on me, so I know I have to run. I can take a shot from one of them. I can't take a shot from both. He luckily wasn't, didn't get his gun on target. I bounced the first shot somehow. I hope that the second shot pens, and it does. Something else here. My reload is significantly faster. You may wonder how that is. I'm running the Final Stand perk, I think is what it's called now. Basically, it boosts your tank by like so much when you're under that 10% HP, and I'm at 111. I've noticed that with this tank, I run this on literally every light tank and every medium tank that plays like a light tank, just because you have low HP to begin with, and taking like a couple shots, you have no health usually. So I just absolutely adore this perk, and I do recommend it for people because it's so good, and like my camo is better, my view range is better, my accuracy is better, my reload is better. I mean, it just like makes everything about the tank better, which is good. I did escape that. It was a little scary. I'm not gonna lie. I was really sweating and I had a headache. I had a headache when I was doing this for some reason, and I wasn't feeling great, as I'm still not. That's also why I haven't been making videos. I know it's been like 2 weeks. I was really, really sick, and then there was Christmas and stuff, and New Year's, so I didn't really have time to put out a video. But this is going to be my first one again, and I'll have some others probably coming up. But I wasn't feeling great. I had a really bad headache, so I was having a hard time concentrating. But I was like, I'm at 5,500, 53, 54, 100 damage combined. And I knew I was really close. So I went to this spot because I knew that this guy would come up, hoping to get both shots in. And once again, I only pen one. I've done that so many times. It was starting to irritate me. I was starting to get mad. And I'm sitting in this position, and I'm like, okay, we have nobody on like the J line over on the right. If there's somebody over there, I wasn't paying attention to the map. If there's somebody over there, he could come over, put a shot into me, and I'm dead. So I make a decision to run away, just in case. That was, you gotta be really careful, because I knew I was really close to this mark, and I didn't want to have to do another game, because I could get a map like Himmelsdorf or Berlin, an absolutely terrible map like those, and just my mark goes away, and then I have another bad game, and that's how it goes. So when you get really close to a mark, you have to guarantee that you're gonna do the damage and get the mark. At least for me, that's what I feel like. So we are close, and I'm thinking I need one more shot to get the mark. However, what if the mark puts me at like 99.99? Because I've had that happen with tanks, and it's really, really frustrating. So I know that I need to play a little bit more risky so that I do get more damage. That was risky there because that ISM was coming around, and then the Centurion was looking at me, so I fluffed both those shots. And there's 21% health left, and it keeps going down and down and down. And I need more. I need more to guarantee this, because I want to make sure I go, far above the requirements and just make sure to guarantee it. So my goal was kind of to get like 6, almost 7,000 combined. And I do get lucky here, and this guy gets spotted, and I'm lucky that my teammate didn't double him, because that would have been most of his health gone. And now I'm up to 6,400 combined, and I'm like, okay, like 2 more. If I can get 2 more shots, that would be absolutely perfect, and I think that would for sure guarantee it. I know the ISM is pretty much dead over there. However, I wanted to be careful there because I didn't want him to spot me, because I want to sneak up on this tank destroyer. And this guy's running, so I was like, I'm guessing this guy's loaded then. So I just poke around, I get 1 shot in, he's looking up, he turns for some reason, he should have just aimed and killed me. I get both shots in, and that's 6,200 damage, plus my 900 assistance, so that's 7,000 combined. And I'm like, I got the mark. I was already so happy here. Because having a gold Bourrasque, I don't know too many people who have a gold Bourrasque. There's definitely a few, especially there's a few from the one clan I know. But having a gold Bourrasque is like, wow, I felt so proud when I did this. And I ended up with 6,500 damage combined in a tier 8 medium tank. And it was so much fun. It was actually not super hard to do. And there's the gold. You're going to see the gold. I'll show it in my garage. And that was a big game for me. You can see 100% mark of excellence. this is my first tier 8 gold mark, so I was just so happy. And I want to thank my friend Penguin for helping me and giving me all the assistance. He played like 30 games with me, which was he didn't have to do. But look at that. It looks absolutely beautiful. So I hope you guys do enjoy this. Um, I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed rewatching the replays and seeing the gold mark. But yeah, if you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.